insurance panel. I'm not good at doing introductions. That's normally Matt's job, but Matt is in Romania, wandering the globe and doing all sorts of fun stuff, like basically for his honeymoon, because he didn't really get a proper one. So I am coming to you here instead with a bonus Just Me with special guest episode. And we brought back fan favorite John Duggar, who is here with us to answer questions that he has received since our last recording. And this should be a fun little video. How you doing, JD?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Questions down.
I do have the questions, yes. Hang on. So, because there's some good questions in here. So let's see. Again, you can tell that I'm very obviously not the person who does this.
I know I had forwarded them to you, but I didn't keep.
No, I definitely have them though. All right, so questions that you've got. So the first question is, when you call a lead and they do not schedule an appointment with you, and they say, thanks, but no thanks, hang up the phone, whatever. There are a lot of people out there who will say, you should immediately go out tomorrow, knock on their door, give them a presentation anyway. There are a lot of people who say, you know what, if they don't set with you, forget them, ignore everybody that's not going to set with you, only go see the people who set with you. What are your thoughts on that whole situation?
I will, as a rule, I'll drop in the trash.
Okay.
Like every rule, some get broken. But
right.
For the most part, if I'm setting an appointment with them and they don't want to set, then it goes in the trash.
Right.
Now I've done it, I've done other ways. I remember years ago on a call, somebody said that, when they didn't, they just door knocked them, even the next day, and they don't remember, and they don't.
That's
they get so many calls. They get so many calls. You get people that complain. They tell you, they want to say that some of us talk in absolutes. That there's only one way, and there's all that, and in a way that's true, but it's talking in absolutes because we've done all the other stuff.
Right.
I'm not telling you your idea is bad. I'm telling you I did that.
Right.
But a guy said on the call that he'd go see him, and I said, hey, that sounds like a good idea. So I did that. And they were right. Nobody said anything. Hey, didn't you call me yesterday? I never got
right.
Right. You might get somebody say, I just talked to somebody about that. It wasn't us.
Right. Yeah.
But no one that wouldn't set the appointment on the phone would let me in the house. So they just told me I'm good on the phone.
Right. Right.
And I didn't do it one day and say this doesn't, this is just not for me. I did it for a while, and the results were, 100% that I didn't get in. And that told me. Now, if you were doing that and you find that you're getting in about, half the houses that wouldn't set an appointment with you,
you should go.
Maybe you're not so good on the phone, and you. Yeah. Frank Stastny used to, med sup mentor. He used to call it giving good phone. And,
right.
And so I've done that. I've done all the things that I've written about 5,500 life applications. So
it's a lot of
appointments.
Yeah, that's a lot of appointments that you've had to experiment with.
I've had a lot of leads. So, I'm just speaking from experience, but I'm speaking from my experience.
Right.
But it's a shared experience because, I've worked with Travis for 13 years
Mhm.
now, and lots of you for what, 6, 7,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you, a lot of good agents over the year, and I'm on every call, every training, everything that they do, and I'll pick up things from agents and give it a go, if it sounds
yeah,
like it, and some of it works, for me, and I stick with it,
right.
and you never stop learning on these. I mean, I learned from our Friday calls, what to say to someone who died and came back.
That's right.
I never really had a good response to that before, and now I do.
Now you know. Welcome back.
I had it happen before. I
Right.
heard that on the call, but I never said welcome back to anyone because I didn't. That wasn't a response I knew to do. And now I've had the opportunity to say that 3 or 4 times because it's
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 amazing.
it's funny, but it's not funny. But a lot of our
Right.
people have died.
It is amazing how many people that you run into in this that have died and come back. It's crazy.
And they seem to be doing pretty well now.
Yeah, they're in perfect health now. They're doing good.
I got the recording on one of them, but you got was a part of it when I said that. But that lady went on to say she went on. She's the only one, but she went on to basically say she regretted it.
Regretted not dying?
Yes, the coming back.
Really, they're coming back.
That's what she said. Well, you fool! You had it all over with.
Wow. That is a first. I haven't heard that one before.
She's met God, talked to God. And
Wow.
she's why in the world did you come back, you fool? Talking to herself,
Sure.
And so that's the only one that's regretted coming back. But
wow. That's
but that's just the people who ask you have to ask you questions about the final expense market. They don't get it, or they wouldn't be asking.
right.
But the problem with it is you can't explain it. It's one of those things you kind of know. You kind of know when you see it and you've done it, and and that's where that still goes back to us. And I always tell agents to get with somebody who does what you want to do, not somebody that talks about it. That's never done it.
Yeah.
Even if they were successful in the field, well, then that's okay. But the people who have never done final expense, never been successful at final expense, just cannot help you with final expense.
No, it's a different world. It's a different world, and it's weird because it is the same world, kind of all over the place. You're with, the people are the same everywhere you go, and we've said this before, but it's sort of a whole different thing. I notice, like, and it's weird. It's weird little stuff, like somebody will post a lead card sometime, and it'll be the person who got the lead card is like 74, and then they'll put down under spouse somebody who's like 28 or 29. Right. And a whole bunch of people will come in and be like, oh wow, he must be rich getting this young wife, whatever. And my immediate response is, oh, they didn't read the card carefully enough. They thought it was beneficiary and they put their kid in. Probably. which is what it is, right? It's a weird different market. So keeping in the vein of talking about appointments, when you do go to an appointment that you've scheduled, like all of us, you probably get no-showed occasionally.
Oh yeah.
So what do you do in those situations?
Well, if it's like there's one no-show, well, at the moment I call from the porch, that I'm
sure
there, and sometimes they're there, so they didn't hear you knock or anything.
Right. Yeah.
But that's just sometimes. Most times they're not answering, even if they're in there. And that's the only time I'll ever leave a message to. If I'm calling from their porch and I get an answering machine, I'll say, hey, this John Duggar, we have an appointment now.
Yeah, me too.
and hang on a minute or two. And if they don't, stick my card on the door,
Mhm.
tear up the lead, go on. You know,
Yeah.
I'm never contacting them again.
Mhm.
The next contact I have with them will be, I mean, if they call me, and that happens once in a blue moon,
Right.
that they call and say, oh, something, this came up and I'd like to reschedule.
Mhm.
Uh, I'll generally reschedule in that case, but most time you never hear from them again
Right.
until they send in the next lead card.
Yeah. No,
I'll catch
yeah,
them that
most of the
time.
time when you get no-showed, it's because they were trying to not be there, right?
Yeah, they're going to send in their card though.
Yeah. Oh, of course they are.
And
You know, they'll get
and
curious again
so
sometime.
that's what I do in the moment. And then it just depends. Like, you know, I'm setting appointments on the hour. So I'll just go to the next one. You know, what difference does it make if you're 45 minutes early? You know, and then if that person is not there, now I've got, you know, a little extra time. I probably won't go to my next one 2 hours early.
Right.
I'll and I always carry my leads for the area I'm working in.
Mhm.
And you know, I've been working the same counties I'm in my 18th year now, working the same county. So I've got a lot of leads in every area I work. And I'll just carry my old ones or the people I haven't gotten in touch with. And so if I've got like that 2 hour gap, I'll just door knock. You know, I'll pull up the closest one and go door knock. And if they're not home, I'll door knock somebody else until I get closer to that next appointment. Or actually, what I'll do if I'm got time, if that person I'm 45 minutes early for is not there, I will swing back to that one
Mhm.
close to the appointment time.
Right at the time that they were supposed to be there.
Just to see, like I had one of those this week, that the guy wasn't there at our appointment.
Mhm.
And I called him and I said, hey, it was an apartment complex, so I wasn't sure I was at the right apartment even. And so I called him and he said, oh yeah, my granddaughter called, I had to run down the road, I'll be there in 15 minutes. In that case, I just waited because I didn't have anywhere else to go.
Right. Yeah.
And
What are you going to do for
I
15
did,
minutes?
but I was 15 miles or so from my next stop. So
Right.
I wasn't going to go there and then come back.
Yeah.
So I did wait, but you know, occasionally there's a reason, but most times not. And so, and, you know, just door knock them.
Yeah. And speaking of door knocking, when you go to door knock, kind of what's your approach? What do you, I mean, so there's a whole bunch of different schools of thought on the best way to door knock. And I know people are interested in what you're doing. Like, what do you carry? What's your approach? Do you treat it like you would treat setting an appointment over the phone? Do you have a different approach? I know you are primarily an appointment setter, but you've told me candidly that you're doing more door knocking than anything these
I've
days.
been door knocking the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Especially last year, the COVID thing, because it did feel like last year, and it was probably just me, but I felt like a lot of people weren't setting appointments by phone that were fine with letting you in.
Yeah.
And
Once they were there and they saw you.
that you didn't look like a criminal either, you know, or something, you know, but now when I door knock, if I go to the door, only thing I carry to the door is the lead card. I know there's a lot of different school of thought on that, but all I carry is the lead card to the door. I'll usually, depending on where I'm at, I will usually leave my vehicle running.
Okay.
And
can't do that where I work. Somebody will come along and take
it. Some areas I work, I'm not going to do that either.
Yeah.
And but even that, you know, I have a remote start. Even then, if I lock it, I'll start it remote, so it's locked when I'm sitting there. I'm doing that to give myself an excuse.
Right.
And I just take the lead card there. And normally, so since I'm door knocking, I have called. So I'll tell them, you know, I'll just go to the doors and show them the card, and I say, look, I've been trying to get in touch with you about this card.
Mhm.
You know, I'm got to take care of that, and you got a few minutes to go over that. And if they say yes, or I don't say, do you have, I need a few minutes to go over this with you. If it's okay, it's okay. I got to turn my truck off. That
Right.
gives me a chance to go and get my stuff though.
Right.
And
Right. Yeah.
I used to not leave it running or something like that. And if they'd say that, I'd say, well, let me go get my tools.
Mhm.
But now I decide I need to go shut my vehicle off, but that gives me a chance to get my stuff, and then I come back in. So, and then from then on, it's just like I said it on the phone.
Right.
Once we
And
go
then,
in, start from the start.
right, just as though it was a scheduled appointment, right?
Yeah, just like it's a scheduled appointment at that point.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem that I have on the door knocking
Mhm.
is instead of running when I set appointments, and that's why I prefer to set appointments, is because you'll get a lot more one-leggers door knocking.
Mhm. Yeah, no, you definitely will.
They're willing to talk to you, but they're both not there.
That's my biggest problem. And I probably shouldn't do this, but I definitely do. If I'm looking to door knock, I have all my leads sorted by people who live in apartment buildings and people who are couples and people who are single in homes. And if I'm going to door knock, I only go knock on the doors of people who are single in homes.
Yeah, I do that too. I'll first, if I've got the lead sitting here and this one's a couple and this one's a single,
go to the couple first, right?
I'll door knock the single first.
Yeah.
So to avoid maybe having that, and if I don't present the one-legger, so if I do run into that, then I'm just going, at that I try to schedule right then.
Right. So you'll schedule an appointment with the one-legger. So this is
I need to come back. When is your wife or your husband, whichever is not there? When's a good time that you're both here?
Yeah. So how much? So this is an interesting question because I think a lot of agents don't do this correctly. When you show up and it turns out to be a one-legger, how much do you let them know about why you're there before you say, hey, husband and wife aren't both here, let's reschedule and come back for a second appointment?
As a rule, very little. Sometimes, like everybody, I'll say too much. And I know immediately, tell yourself, shut up, quit talking, get out of here. No, I don't. I'm not, and I'm certainly not leaving any company literature, anything.
Right.
I just tell them, that we need to talk to both of you. But it's not really a problem because almost everyone, when you tell them, they agree.
Right. Right. Yeah, they want to have their.
If they don't agree, it's probably not worth resetting appointment anyway.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's fair.
If they say, well, I don't need, she doesn't need to be here, or you can just talk to me or something, you probably don't even need to talk to those people anyway. Then.
Right. And you can't either, right? Like, they say, oh, I make all the decisions. You don't need to talk to my wife. Don't do that.
Oh, that's right.
Right. That is never going to be true.
Well, you're and I are married. We know.
Yeah. Right.
And but a lot of people will even tell you that, especially the men will say, I need to have her here anyway. I couldn't tell you anything without her here anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I just say, I understand. I got one.
Yeah.
When's a good time to catch the two of you? And now I won't schedule more than one day out. And so if it's, I'll kind of pencil it in and tell them I'm going to call you back. Unless I'm going to be in that area that next day and I know it, I'll say I'll set it for tomorrow. But if it's not available, I won't even set it any other time.
Right.
If they tell me a good time, I'll say, okay, I'll pencil that in, but I'm going to call you the day before.
And then add them to your call list to I guess, confirm more or less.
Yeah.
It's probably the only time that you do call to confirm.
I would never confirm an appointment I've set.
Right. Right.
You know,
Yeah. This is just because it's far
this
out.
is just this and like on one that I'm said, but that's pretty rare that happens anyway. That they generally they were not willing to set the appointment either. Then
Hmm.
yeah, I remember I had one not long ago. The wife
Hmm.
wasn't there. Oh yeah, she actually sent that in, and yeah, you need to talk to her. And he said, I'll let her know you were here. And I said, well, I'll call back. When's a good time? He told me, well, she's always works with his hours, and I've never got in touch with them again.
Right. Right.
And
Do you leave a business card or anything?
I finally threw the lead away after trying to call 2 or 3 times, and you can take a hint.
Yeah. Right. Do you leave those types of folks business cards? Do you leave them information on how they can get in touch with you if they so desire? Always. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the first thing I do anyway at every appointment.
Mm-hmm.
I walk in the doors, give them my card. I know there's different schools of thought on that too, but
yeah,
that's what I do.
Right.
And they, and like I said, if someone no shows me, I leave my card. Even though I may throw the lead away, I leave my card so they know I was there.
Right. And your card has your name on it, and it says that you do insurance, and it says, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And if they, and if they do call on those, they're almost always a buyer.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. My rule has always been that if somebody no shows me, but they call me to reschedule, that's almost always a worthwhile appointment.
Well, I would say 100% of those are buyers that call back.
Mm-hmm.
But the other part of that's almost 100%. The reason they're buyers is probably a GI.
Well, yeah, right, right.
Everybody else has already told them that.
Yeah, they're buyers, but they're bad prospects. Which,
I did have one yesterday that you can't cover me.
Right.
I said, no, he said, everybody's told me that I can't get covered. And I said, well, we probably can. What's the reason? Because I smoke and I'm a diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, do you take insulin shots, or you take just a pill? He said, I take shots.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, what else? Well, that's it.
Right.
Yeah. I said, any heart troubles or anything? No. Well, I had a stent. Well, how long ago? 10 years. He said, so I take some blood pressure medicine, and I said, well, cancer? Nope, never. I said, well, this is no problem. And sometimes you want to think to yourself, what am I missing here? But the thing is, and basically what he had talked to was through the credit union, everything over the phone, online or something, they told him he couldn't get anything but, return a premium.
Right.
I
and
think
that's
I'm probably the first agent in his home he had spoken to.
Right. Right. And it's the first, right. It's the first time they've spoken to anybody real who does real work. Right. And I bet you in a lot of those cases, you're the first, like, a lot of their stuff is they've been getting told by friends and people at the barbershop and stuff too. Like everybody's an expert on life insurance.
Medicare.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like everybody's an expert. Everybody thinks they know until they actually meet somebody who knows.
Even when they meet you on Medicare, they still want to listen to the barber, the mailman.
Yeah.
Joe's friend at the feed store that heard about his cousin that had this happen.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I got a Medicare referral that I ran yesterday. Sweet lady, and she bought, but she was just dead set. I am gonna have the plan my sister has. I was like, I'm telling you, that is not the best plan for you. If that is the plan you absolutely want, she was turning 65. She could have had anything she wanted. Yeah. And like, if you are dead set that is what you want, I mean, I'll enroll you in that plan, but I am telling you that this is not your best option here. And she's like, my sister's got that plan and she loves that plan, and that's the plan I want to have. I was like, well,
I mean, like the old argument we used to have between F and G and D.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want F.
Yeah.
Everybody's got F. Yeah, well, maybe they do. Everybody has F, but everybody should be changing.
Right. Yeah. It's not your best choice. But
People are paying, they're paying $500 a year for a $200 benefit. They
yeah.
need to talk to me.
Right. Oh, well, so it is what it is sometimes, it's the hazard of our business, I also like it when people tell me that they've gotten advice from their lawyer to tell them what to do. It's like, I don't know what your lawyer knows about life insurance, probably no more than your neighbor who's a gardener. Like, it's the same.
I'll tell you what, I just had one recently, got very bad advice from a lawyer.
Oh yeah. I believe it.
But more often it's funeral home.
Yeah.
Here it's more, they get, I got into it with a funeral home director that called me with one of my clients in there just a week or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her I need to see a lawyer about her because she was telling my client, but she told me too. There's no such thing as immediate coverage.
Oh, yeah, that's rough.
Said,
I've had funeral directors tell me that before too.
She said, "No, I know y'all tell people that, but it's not true." I said, "No." I said, "Yeah, they're contested. You're confusing the contestable period."
Right.
And I said, "But it's rare that I have one that's not paid." And I said, "Unfortunately, the closest one I had a guy that died 2 weeks after taking the policy out, and they paid the full amount."
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, how long did it take them to pay?" I said, "Well, it took a couple of months, but." Well, that's what I'm talking about. I said, "Well, that's different than telling people they won't." She said, "Well, that's rare. They're not going to pay."
Well, I mean, and I mean, from the funeral home's perspective, I almost get it because they're going by their experience, right? And their experience is probably that a ton of people have really, really crappy life insurance that isn't going to pay.
Oh, they probably have a lot that don't pay.
Yeah, right. I'm based on my experience of meeting people who send in these cards. There are a lot of people out there who have really terrible life insurance that's not going to pay. Again, like, almost no matter what topic comes up on this show, I can mention somebody that I saw yesterday, and this is true again. I met people yesterday who, like, there was a guy who had one of those 5-star term policies to 100.
Yeah.
And he got it in 2015. Like, it must have been brand new on the market when he got it.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, and I opened it up and I said, "Hey, look, this is guaranteed for 10 years. It says so right here. Here's the table in the policy where it shows you what happens once the guarantees stop." And he looked at me and he went, "Oh no, how was I lied to? This is only going to be worth $2,000 if I turn 80." I was like, "Well, that's the minimum that it's going to be. That's what they can drop it down to." Yeah. And he's like, how do I get out of that? It's supposed to be at 30.
Is that thing still available?
I don't think so. I don't think you can buy it new anymore. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I haven't heard about it. There's other Prosperity's got a term to 100, but they don't sell it in Pennsylvania, so I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I think they sell that here, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know what I've heard, and so I certainly don't know enough to present it to someone, so I wouldn't.
Right.
And that's another thing I get, and they just mad at me about that and stuff, is like that, talking about selling annuities and things, and and they don't know any more about annuity than I do.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So why would you sell? I had one guy argue, "Well, your license allows you to sell it." I said, "Well, I know it does." But I'm not going to go in and talk to some. I mean, if you give me a stack of annuity leads free,
right? What are you going to do with this?
I mean, they're still worthless to me.
Right.
I'm not going to go and talk to someone about something I don't know about.
Right.
And that's what. And these agents selling Medicare is the same way.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
And Dave, I've always based this business, and I've always said in this business that I want to conduct my business to such that I would want to be my agent. if the day comes that I wouldn't want me as my agent, it's time for me to get out.
Yeah.
So I
That's
guess I have based that on other agents too. What I want, what if I'm going to recommend that agent or something, what I want him to be my agent.
right.
Or if I wouldn't, then I'm going to recommend that person. But there's so many, and I'm getting so many Medicare calls now too, and stuff. And if I've got time, I'll humor them.
Hmm.
But the stuff they're telling me on the phone is so illegal.
Oh God, it's crazy what the
And I'll
telemarketers are
even
doing right now.
tell them. I'll ask them their name and their agent number. Some of them hang up then.
Hmm.
But even some will tell me, I say, I'm going to record this call.
Hmm.
Okay, that's fine. And then they still go about this.
That's
And I had one,
nuts.
I even told, I finally told the person, he kept on, and I said, look, buddy, of course I was running out of time. I was talking to him between appointments. He called me on my cell phone. So I finally told him, I said, everything you've done here is illegal. You've called a number on do not call list. You're trying to sell Medicare Part C and D on a cold call. No, it's okay. It's everything fine with that. And he kept on, and I finally it dawned on me, and I said, well, you hadn't listened to anything else I've said, but do you know what a secret shopper is? And he said, yeah, I've heard of those. And I said, well, do you know if you ask someone for a secret shopper, they have to tell you? And he said, no, I didn't know that. That's what they do. And I said, well, what do you think about that secret shopper thing? And click, he hung up on me then. Now, he didn't ask me then. I'd already told him they have to tell you. He
Right.
didn't ask me if I was. I'd have to say no because I'm not.
Right.
But but it took that point to get this guy.
Yeah.
And I told him he was being recorded. But
Yeah.
actually he wasn't, because I was on my cell phone.
Well, yeah, but
it didn't deter him any though.
it's crazy. The stuff I'm hearing people tell me about Medicare telemarketers right now, like I would have thought that it was a one-off misunderstanding if I haven't run into this 5 or 6 times within the last month. But I'm running into a whole bunch of people who are telling me that they are being told that they can keep their existing Medicare Advantage plan that they have and they're happy with and that they like. And all they're going to do is add on the additional benefits from this second 0 premium Medicare Advantage plan. Right. And I've had 5 people this month tell me this, or I guess in May, but I've had 5 people from in the month of May tell me this. And they're like, I want to talk to you about Medicare because I want to get my plan back because I got the letter saying that I've been disenrolled and I don't want to be. How do I fix this?
I tell one thing, the Joe Namath commercials, and I said, if I told people the things that Joe Namath says, I could lose my license.
Oh God, yeah.
And they said, well, how come Joe can say that? I said, Joe don't have a license.
Right. It doesn't matter, right?
He doesn't have a license to lose.
Right. Yeah, no, it's nuts.
The fine print at the bottom of those commercials was nobody reads.
Mm-hmm.
Not available in all areas. This may not apply to you.
Right. And it covers the butts of the people who are doing the advertising. I view those people the same way that I view some of these. Like, I know there's a lot of agents out there who are very upset and freaked out about the telemarketers, and I mean, rightfully so. They're doing harm to the consumer, and that's bad. But from our perspective, I feel like they're just adding inventory of dissatisfied Medicare customers who want to change. Like it's just like everybody buying an overpriced, Lincoln Heritage policy or an overpriced policy from Globe Life or whatever, Colonial Penn. It's ultimately as the independent agent, it's a helpful thing. It's terrible for the consumer, but
the last Lincoln Heritage agents that door knocked me, I told them I wish them a lot of luck.
Yeah, it's got to be rough, right?
I said, good luck with this, and they didn't seem to understand what I was saying, but they hadn't run into anything they've sold yet, so apparently they're not having much luck.
I guess they didn't. Well, I don't know. Maybe they just flew back to whatever state that they had flown into Kentucky from. And
Well, obviously, there was two of them, so one was in training.
oh, yeah. Oh, well. So this has been a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I'm a little short on time today. It's been kind of a crazy week. But let's try and do this again. Matt's gone for a while, and we got some time to fill. So I would love to have you back and do some more of this.
Party while he's away.
That's right. That's right. Get some other stuff going on. We can keep the channel moving.
If he's watching, congratulations, Matt. Enjoy your honeymoon.
I am sure he's going to watch. I know he's excited about it. So, all right. So that's everything for this week. Please don't forget to subscribe and like and do all that stuff that we're supposed to tell you to do. And we will talk to you next time. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Appreciate it, Nick.
See you.
Okay.